Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys had an amazing holiday this week, tail end of this last week and into the weekend. If you celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. I hope it was everything that you would have hoped for, spending time with your family and your friends. I'm here with another 5 ways to use index cards in your journals. I will link the first 2 videos at the end. I'll also link it in the description box. But I've been having a lot of fun, guys. I've been having a lot of fun. So just to recap real quick, these were the ones that we did previously. So this is like a little tablet. And then this one opens up, a little notebook. We did the tag with a pocket. We did the flip ups or flip down, depending on which way you wanted it, with the pockets using index cards. We have our 4 pockets as well. We did our over the page tucks. And then we did this booklet. And then some of them I already started putting into the book of ideas. We had done this pocket with index cards. These are the bigger ones. We did the little booklet that opens out for writing space. And we had done back here, where is it? We had done this one where it's a pocket here, and then this one opens out and you have writing space there. So you have a pocket here, and then hidden writing space there. So those were the previous 10 that we did. And I got 5 more for you. And then I think we're going to move on from index cards. So I went digging in my stash and I did find some lined ones that I had purchased from a local discount store. The previous ones that I use are my favorites. I don't find them that often. They're the ones without the lines, which are great for projects. So if you want to see the next 5, we have these with the little peekaboo windows. We have the journaling cards, and you can see it's a kind of a wintry theme. We have these little open booklets with these full seals from Dollar Tree. We have a cute little waterfall to be able to write in your journals. And then we have this interactive piece with index cards that have pockets and then opens out. So if you want to see how we do them, stick around and we'll get started. All right, so you are going to need for supplies, obviously, index cards. These were made using the 4x6. I think it's a happy medium between the 3x5s and the 5x8s, depending on what it is that you're creating. So you're going to need some index cards. I pulled out a hole punch, a hand punch, circle punch. This one happens to be 1.5. I didn't have a 1-inch, but use what you have. It could be a heart. It could be anything that you want. You're going to need that. I like to ink, so I have some ink. You're going to need something to fold and crease your index cards. And, of course, you're going to need some kind of glue, glue stick, wet glue, and then whatever decorative paper that you want to line with. So you guys know I shared this very thin paper that I got from Amazing Savings, and that's what I've been using to line these papers. I also used a digital. This was a digital I was working with way back in the beginning. And I don't know why I didn't release it. I didn't make ephemera for it. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't do it. I went with something else. And who knows? Maybe I'll bring it back. Drop it in the comments if you would like me to bring it back. But also, if I can find it in my hard drive. But we're going to start really easy. So we will start with the little simple fold. It is so easy, it hurts. Sometimes you cannot and should not overthink it. So all you're going to do is fold it in half. Okay, that's your booklet right off the bat. You line your paper, whatever decorative paper you want to use. You can put it in the back. What do I have here? Oh, this is my cardstock for my... This was another digital that I was working with. I have paper all over. But I use lightweight. This is not 65-pound cardstock, but it's not copy paper. It's a little bit in between. But you would lay your glue, lay it down on your paper, let it dry. Come in with, you don't have to come in. I came in with some coffee dye paper to kind of knock back that white a little bit. But you don't have to. You can definitely leave the lines, do some stenciling. And because this is lightweight copy paper, I do like that you can faintly see the lines because I can never write straight. And then you can stick anything that you want in that little circle. You can stick a flower. You can stick, like I did a full seal. Anything and everything can go in as long as it fits in that circle. And then once you do that, all you have to do is come in and punch your hole. Now, I try to measure it as best I can, but it's not rocket science. There it is. That's my hole. I could have went a little further this way, but there it is. And then decorate to your heart's content. You can add a bow. You can add all sorts of things back there. So that is this one. And when you don't have cardstock in your stash, when you're creating journals, index cards are the way to go. They're very inexpensive. You get a lot of the quantity in a pack. So you get about 100. They also have 50 packs. You can cut them down. These can be your pockets, and then you can layer your paper. I mean, your journal cards, if you don't invest in cardstock, this is the best way to go. All right, staying in that same venue, I did these journal cards, and again, you can faintly see the lines in the back. And I had this die cut of a snowflake, and because it is winter themed, I did sandwich it between acetate. Now, if you don't have acetate, that's perfectly okay. You can use any kind of plastic as long as you're able to sandwich what you want in between. So I have already lined my papers here. And what I'm going to do is get my hole punch, and I think I'm going to want this one on the top. Make sure it's not directional in the back. I'm going to want this one in the top. I have done it on the top. I have done it on the bottom. And I think I'm going to want it right around there. Okay. And you want to punch both of them at the same time so you can ensure that they are both in the same spot. So that is my front, that is my back. If you don't have a hole punch, you can, and you have a die cutting machine, and you have a circle die, you could do that. You could do any shape that you want. It could be a square. I have this one that I could use as well. Anything that can give you like a peekaboo window. And at that point, you will lay, so I don't have acetate in front of me. We're going to wing it, and we're going to use this double-sided tape. You are going to need some double-sided tape. I'm going to use this plastic that this double-sided tape came in. And I am just going to cut into this. Where is the top? Here we go. I'm going to cut into it. There goes my Loki on Neighborhood Watch. I don't know what he's barking at, but he feels he has to sound the alarm, so sorry about the barking. All right. So I know I can't use that right off the bat because it has the sticker, so we're just going to cut away that part. And then we have the top part here, so I'm going to cut that away. Now, I didn't sew these. I'm definitely going to come back and sew, but I wanted to show it to you without a sewing option. So that, I know, is going to have to cover that window. So I'm going to grab my double-sided tape. And I'm going to have to find something to put in that window. So I'm going to come. I'm going to hug the window as close because I added no glue on that snowflake. But I also want it as close, you know, as sandwiched as it can be. Lay that down. This is my well loved spatula. Let me go grab a snowflake, what I'm going to put in there. All right, so I got my snowflake and I've got my pick tool. And we're just going to remove this tape. So I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I hope you guys are finding value here. I'm going to get rid of this lump. Okay. And having fun. Be nice if this would stick. Having fun creating. All right. Maybe tearing off the tape is not a good idea. So I want to cut off this seam. And I know that I'm going to need at least this much. So I'm going to cut it across. And I'm hoping this piece can be enough for both. So you're going to lay that plastic down. And as you're laying it, try to smooth it out to make it as flat as you can. Like that. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to cut this off. Okay. And if there's any overhang, give it a trim. You can always go and trim it after. All right. So there goes that. And then we're going to come back with the tape again. And we're going to get that ready. I say don't rip it, and that's exactly what I'm doing. But this time it's on plastic. I want to make sure you don't see it through the window. Okay. And then we have this last one here. All right. So I'm going to burnish that really well. And we're going to get our second piece of plastic. So we're going to get rid of the seam there. And we're going to measure this out. And it's enough to fit. So I'm not going to even cut off the side because I know I can cut it off after it's down. So we're going to get it ready. Remove the tape. And then double check your direction. So I'm going to peek in the back because I don't remember if the back is directional. No, it's not. But I know this is my top corner. And when you do die cuts, one side looks really nice and curvy and the other one looks a little bit more rough. So I want that to face in the front. And then I'm going to grab my plastic. I'm going to turn it around this way so I can see. And I'm going to lay that down. And doing the same thing, I'm going to press to get all that extra air out and push out to the edge. And there is our snowflake. Come in and trim this off. And that is the hardest part, guys. That is the hardest part. So now we can come in. There's my, here it is. I do want to, should have did the other one, but that's okay. You don't have to ink. It's just my preference. I don't know. I just like it. Draws your eye to it. Okay. And then you would just come in and glue your pieces together. Now, I didn't bring my wet glue, so I am going to use my glue stick. Use my glue stick. Make sure I get all those edges around the circle and in between. Okay. Get that out of the way. Let's bring this back, and then I am going to align my pieces. I'm really paying special attention to that circle, because anything on the sides I can cut off to eat. Get a good press. You can see it's not 100% even, but you can always come and trim. And then you can round your corners if you choose to. I like my journal cards to be corner rounded. They just make it easier to go in and out of the pockets. And there is our Peekaboo window journaling card. That's the one we did together. Here's the two I did off camera. You can put the hole in any corner that you like. You can put it in the middle if you have a die and run it through your die cutting machine. But there is that one. And the bookmarks are the same. All you're going to do is take one card, journal index card. Why it feels like I have two? Because you do. Fold it in half. All right, I'm gonna pin it as best you can, because you know this is a little thicker, so it wants to go wherever it wants to go. Okay, and then I use that 1.5. I think it's a little too close to the edges for me, but you can definitely go in with a smaller circle punch, which I don't seem to see that I have one nearby. But you can definitely go in with something smaller, and then just make sure that whatever you put in there fits. Cover it up. You can even take 2 index cards if you want to, cut it into a tag and make a Peekaboo window on a tag. That's another option. I just chose bookmarks because I like having bookmarks in my journal, so I'm always making them. But you can definitely do the same thing with 2 index cards. Cut it out into your tag shape. Die cut your hole, or maybe you want it in the corner. And then you can definitely make a Peekaboo window tag. So there is that one. This one is a stacked index card waterfall. And all you need is 2 index cards to do that. And this is from my card making days. I took 2 index cards and I offset them a little bit. Maybe, what is that? 1/2 inch? No, maybe 3/4 inch. And then holding them together, I flip it over, making sure that my edges are aligned. And then I'm going to come down and make sure that they're all evenly spaced. And then crease it. So there is our waterfall. Now on this one, I did come in and crease it a little bit again, like a 1/4 inch. Just like that. So I have that piece. And that is the piece that I'm going to glue onto here. So when it flips up, this piece is glued and it will flip from here. See that? That's how I did that. So it looks like this. So there is the piece that is glued down. and here is where it's flipping. Instead of flipping like this one does at the hinge. It flips from a little further down, but that's where I glued it to the other cardstock, to the other index card. And then this is writing, writing, writing. So that is how I did that one. And that is the waterfall. So when you glue, you're gluing here. You're going to make sure that it's bent back, right? In between that seam. And that is what you glue down to your base. And that is your waterfalls. You can round the corners. You can do all the lovely things, decorate it however you like. So that is number 4. And then the last one is this one. Now this one takes three index cards. One is going to be your base. Oh, I have some pre-folded already. The other one, you're going to score a 1/2 inch on one side. That's going to be your left. I'm giving you another variation. And you do the same thing on the other one. And that's going to be your right. So this one is, you can go this way. Right? And then have your pockets here and here. And then this will be your writing space. You can even have writing space there and then your cover decorated however you want. Or you can do it the opposite way, going up. And then you have your pocket going down. You have your pocket and then this is where you would write. However you like. I think this one gives you a few more options. Doing it sideways. So take one index card, score it a 1/2 inch on the left. That's going to be your hinge to attach it to your full index card. Take the other index card, score it a 1/2 inch on the right. And then that's going to be your right side to your little, what do we call it? It's not a folio. Little booklet? I don't know. Somebody come up with a name. Put it in the comments below. And then this would be your decorative page. And then you can have a pocket here. This can be writing space. Open it up. And you have a pocket here. And then your writing space here. So I hope that helps, guys. I don't usually do a lot of the gluing and that kind of stuff unless it's a little complicated or really intense. But I just love giving you the mechanisms or the construction of it. And then you can take it and twist it however you like. This I had intended to, you can see where I attached them, glue it down into my journal. Kind of like this. So it would glue down like that. And then, let me scooch up. I wanted it a little bit further on the top. And then I was going to add like, okay, so where are the circles that we punched out of our project? Hold on to those circles because they will come in handy. Okay, I don't have the ones that I just punched out. Oh, are they still in the, no, anyway. Okay. So the decorative circles that you punch out from your Peekaboo elements, you can attach at the bottom here. Now, obviously, it's going to be thicker. This does not have any kind of layer of paper, but it's just a way for you to be able to keep it closed and be able to tuck it in. So that was my intention for this one. And then, of course, these can fit inside as well. Not that this one matches, but the pockets are gusseted enough to be able to fit. And all I did was take color cardstock and run it through my embossing folders. And then just to give it a little decorative edge. That makes it a little bulky. All right, my friends. So that's what I have for you today. The last 5 ways to be able to use your index cards in your journal. So we have a lot of Peekaboo elements this time around. Of course, we have a little interactive flip. This one is going up and down, but you can definitely do it sideways. Our little Peekaboo writing spots are Peekaboo cards, bookmarks. And then we have the journaling card. So we did this one together. And then these are the ones that I did off camera. And then, of course, our waterfall. So there you have it, my friends. Let me know what you think. Have an amazing week, and I'll catch you in the comments. As always, have a crafty, good time recreating the projects if you found them interesting and useful, something that you can use in your projects. And have an amazing week. Till the next time. Take care now. Bye.